Morning to you, Liza.
Good morning.
How is it going now? Are things quieting down? What was last night like?
Yeah, so actually things have quietened down over the weekend. So if you look at the amount of arrests we had at the end of the week towards Friday, it was well over 1,000, but actually over Saturday it was several hundred, and last night it was just under 100 people arrested. So things have quietened down in the suburbs of Paris where all the violence had begun at the beginning of the week. Now everything's relatively calm. I was in Nanterre, in the west suburb where the killing of 17-year-old Nahel happened. I was there yesterday and on Saturday, and everything had pretty much gone back to normal. There was no more presence of police. In fact, the police and the forces of order have moved more to the town centre, to the center of Paris, but also to the center of other cities in France like Marseille and Lyon, which have been particularly affected by the riots. But to be honest, last night was relatively calm, and now it's more a question of how is the government going to proceed? How is it going to respond?
Because there was that shocking incident involving the mayor in Les where his wife and children were attacked in their house. His wife broke his leg. His kids are like 5 and 7, and they were attacked by rioters. Presumably, at some point, incidents like that will affect the public mood generally on the rioting.
Yes, so actually, I was in Les as well yesterday afternoon, and at first, it did seem like a local incident, a local story, but it very quickly rose to a national level. It brought national attention because the Prime Minister came to Les and the Interior Minister as well. And I think it was the presence of these ministers which really woke up France, because we did have previously we had a few incidences of other mayors being personally targeted, but we didn't have enough cases to really raise public awareness. But yesterday was possibly one of the first times where it was the top story of the country, and other communities were feeling relatively scared because Les in general, it's a very middle-class suburb. It's very calm. Not much happens there. It's mostly families and elderly people. So this attack on its mayor came as a surprise to the residents. And that also sent a message across to other communities, other communes who were starting to wonder would they also get attacked or not.
And where does that leave the public mood in this? Do they feel that the unrest stems for legitimate reasons, if not every aspect of it is acceptable, or is there a hardening of positions between two different parts of French society? How do you judge the overall national mood?
I think the nation is actually very divided. So, on one hand, you have the people who sympathize with the communities who live in the suburbs of cities. These are usually mixed race, relatively poor communities who have endured years of police brutality and have been unfairly treated. But the issue was never tackled because they were never able to actually have enough video proof. So now that they do have proof of the killing of the 17-year-old boy of North African descent, they were able to really raise awareness, and a lot of people are sympathizing with them. But on the other hand, you do have a large proportion of the population who supports the police. In 2022, there was they were saying that some statistics showed that around 8 out of 10 people in France support the police. Now,
Really?
this certainly has changed in the last year, but it just goes to show that actually a lot of people are standing on the police side. And in fact, there's been more money raised for the family of the policeman who shot the 17-year-old than for the family of the 17-year-old who was killed. So it does go to show that there is a very large divide in the population, and that's also being encouraged by obviously the opposition, who is very supportive of the police, and they're quite good at talking to people and encouraging everyone to support the police.